Have you ever wanted to be trapped in the woods, surrounded by monsters, demons, and ghosts? No? Maybe that's just me, but it's too late now, we're here. Luckily, Inwoods gives you plenty of ways to fight back. Whether you're a knight in shining armor or a gravity mage sending boulders flying at skeletons, there's something here for everyone and every playstyle. Today's video is sponsored by the dev team behind Inwoods, a roguelike survival game set, you guessed it, deep in the woods. They were kind enough to send me a copy, and honestly I'm glad they did, because just like most of you guys, I probably would have never found this game otherwise, and after playing it for hours, I'm completely hooked. When you first get dropped into this creepy forest, you're weak, confused, and, at least in my case, running around like a headless chicken. With absolutely no idea what's going on, I've played plenty of roguelikes, but none that throw you out into the chaos quite like this one. Your first instinct is to fight back, but pretty quickly you realize, yeah, that's not really happening. You're so underpowered that most of the early game is just trying to stay alive, weaving between enemies, training them in a big circle, and hoping to pick off a few stragglers so you can level up. Every time you level up, you get to choose between 3 different magic items. The game actually pauses here, so make sure you take your time. This is where you start shaping your build just the way you like it. Some upgrades are perfect for archers, others for sword fighters, and then there's whatever this guy is. I tried using him once, but let's just say that run didn't last very long. As you keep leveling up, your power grows, but so does the threat. Suddenly, there are enemies that can hit you from across the screen, others that sprint straight at you, and some that just straight up want to punch you right in the face. And once you survive long enough, that's when the bosses show up. There are 4 bosses per level, each one bigger, faster, and meaner than the regular enemies. And when you finally take one down, it's total chaos. A huge explosion of gold and gems go flying everywhere. Enemies are still closing in, and a treasure chest that has an artifact inside. These artifacts are insanely strong upgrades you can't get through normal level ups. Killing a boss also brings up the crafting menu, and this is where things get really fun. You can pick exactly what you want to upgrade for your build specifically, and the right choice here can turn you from prey into predator. Just make sure you've chopped down plenty of trees first. Some of the best gear cost a ton of wood. The game keeps this loop going until you reach the final boss of the stage. If you beat them, or even if you don't and you die, you get to spend your collected coins on permanent upgrades. As you guys can see, there are a lot of different upgrades to choose from. I decided for me personally, I wanted to try maxing out the coin drop, which in turn I thought would help me get all of these upgrades much quicker, and I could make my character super powerful. I also decided to max out the experience gained tab, because I assumed that would help me level up quicker each and every game and help me get a ton of items every single match to help me win and beat any bosses that I might be up against. But there are also some upgrades that can just straight up make you stronger, increase your attack speed and area, which obviously can be extremely useful. And then there are some upgrades that can be really good for certain characters and specific builds, like upgrading projectiles, which gives them more speed and distance. And the coolest part is that you can refund them at any time and completely change your build. I started with a balanced setup, but once I started using an archer character more, I scrapped everything and maxed out projectiles, completely changing how I played the game. And then there are the characters. Some of them are just straight up insane, with wild designs, crazy abilities, and each one comes with a unique challenge to unlock. It's the kind of thing that keeps you saying just one more run, because you want to try out that next character and you need to finish the challenge to unlock them. I mean, who wouldn't want to test this guy out? I honestly thought that the game might start to lose steam after a few stages, but I was totally wrong. Once you beat a final boss, you actually unlock Hypervariant Mode for that stage. That's the real end game. In Hypervariant Mode, the enemies get buffed over time. Yes, you heard me correct. The longer you survive, the stronger they get. Think of it as payback for all the upgrades we got throughout our runs. You can't just coast to victory anymore, you're now on a ticking clock and they're constantly getting stronger and stronger. But there is a trade-off. Monster cards. Every once in a while, enemies drop these during hypervariant runs. At the end of your run, they're added to your permanent collection, giving you buffs that make you just a little bit stronger every single time you play and collect one. I've only made it to Hypervariant level 2 so far, and already the timer for the enemy buffs is way shorter. I can only imagine how ridiculous this gets at the higher levels and after tons and tons of playthroughs. I really wanted to go through and beat every stage at least once, but I've already run into a cinder block, honestly. It's straight up bullying me. I think I need to grind the earlier stages for more upgrades before I even stand a chance. Or maybe I just need to get good. It could honestly go either way. Before I wrap this up, here are 3 beginner tips that I wish I knew from the start. You need to read your upgrades very carefully. Pick the ones that fit your character's strengths, and don't forget healing items. Feeling invincible early can lead to a very humbling death later on. If you don't get any items to make your health regen quicker or just straight up more base health, you're going to be in a lot of trouble in the endgame. Another thing is to make sure you collect wood before crafting. I like having at least 200 wood in my inventory before I open a boss chest. And here's a little pro tip, you don't have to open the chest right away. You can actually just leave it laying on the ground, go out and collect some more wood, and then whenever you think you have enough, you can come back and the chest will be there waiting for you and you can craft whatever you'd like. Another thing is to make sure you play to your character's strengths. I learned this when I was playing with this big hammer guy. Normally I'd keep my distance, but his stun made close range combat ridiculously effective. He would stun all the enemies that I hit, so I could just walk right up in these hordes and just swing away and have no fear of getting killed. Whereas, obviously, if you're playing as something like an archer, you're going to want to keep your distance because close range combat isn't exactly the best thing for them. Another thing I would want to add is to keep an open mind when you're playing this game. You might think that one of the early characters is the perfect one for you, and you might not want to try out the other ones thinking that you're not going to like them very much. But if you actually sit down and try some of these other characters, I'm sure you'll find out that you like some of them even more than the other ones, or at least they'll end up being better than you thought they were. That's what happened to me at least. In most games, I love playing a character that gets up close and personal with a sword or something like that, but after I ended up trying the archer and the gravity mage, I ended up totally changing up and loving them much better than the close range options. Also, be open-minded with the different items and upgrades that you can get. Some of them might not look very useful, but after you switch characters, it could end up being one of the best items in the game for that character. I really like the items that let you split the projectiles, and I like to get as many of those as I can so I can shoot like a million projectiles at once. But obviously, if I'm using a knight or something like that, then that wouldn't be very useful, as the knight does have a projectile, but it's not a very good one. If any of you guys want to check out Inwoods, I'll have a link for the game in the description below. I'd highly recommend it to anybody who enjoys roguelikes. And let me know in the comments which character you guys end up liking the most. I'm torn between the gravity mage and the archer, but I can't wait to try out the later characters when I unlock them. Big thanks to the team at Inwoods for sponsoring this video, and thanks to you guys for watching. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and as always, peace.